Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy from House of TOEFL, and today we're going to do something I've been getting a lot of requests for. That is, we're going to talk a little bit about the reading section. Now, I want to say a couple of things before we begin. The first is that this is going to be a beginner lesson. This is not an advanced lesson. I just want to give you a few basic tips. However, I do believe that you need to know the basics before you move on to the advanced information. So the examples in this video might seem a little easy, but they're a very good place to start, and they're also a good place to review, even if you're a more advanced student. The other thing is, as many of you know, and more on this later, I did publish a book about the reading section, but if you own it, you should still watch this video because the examples in this video are not in my reading book. I actually decided to write brand new examples for this video so you don't have any repetition, and if you already have my book, you can still get something out of this video. So let's get started. We are going to be talking today about the sentence insertion question. So in this question type, you will be given a new sentence in bold. For this purpose, I'm going to call it the target sentence, and you will be asked where it best fits in the passage. And in the passage, you will see 4 black squares. Your job is to click on the square where the sentence best fits. Then the sentence will move there and you can see it in context. And if you feel comfortable with it there, you can move on to the next question. Now, there will be one of these per passage. There will not be more than one. However, there could be a passage that does not have this question type, but most have this question type, but they never have 2. So today we're going to go over a few basic clues that you can use to get the correct answer for this question. Let's go to the first clue. The first clue is the target sentence has a pronoun in it. Now, pronouns can provide clues. These are words such as it, its, her, hers, him, his, those, this, these, them, themselves, itself, and so on. There are many pronouns in English. But the thing to know about a pronoun is they usually refer back to a word in the sentence before. For example, if I say, these were built with 2 wheels, that doesn't make sense. You need a sentence before. Perhaps saying, chariots were used by the Roman in warfare. Then, these were built with 2 wheels. Now it makes sense. These refers to chariots. So we can use these pronouns to help us place our sentence into the passage. Now, let's look at the target sentence I have given you here. They rely on it to locate sources of food. Now, I underlined the pronoun here. Please note it will not be underlined in the real TOEFL. Take a moment now to pause this video and determine where you think this sentence best fits. Okay, hopefully you picked the third square because the word it refers to an extremely acute sense of smell. If you got it wrong, don't worry. I will explain where I think you might have put it if you got it wrong and why that's not correct. The second one is talking about a sense of hearing as the topic, but food doesn't make any sound, so the second square doesn't make sense. As for the 4th square, well, that doesn't make sense because by that time, the writer has moved on to the topic of pheromones. And if you don't know what pheromones are, look them up because that's a good TOEFL word. So that's why it actually goes in the 3rd square. It's referring to the extremely acute sense of smell. They rely on it, the sense of smell, to locate sources of food. Okay. The next clue is if the target sentence has transition words in it. Transition words show relationships between the target sentence and the rest of the passage. These are words such as however, on the other hand, but, in contrast, yet, moreover, in addition, additionally, also, what's more, and so on. Now, these are big clues. They show you where the target sentence should be placed. here's an example. Again, I've underlined the target word. This will not be underlined in the real TOEFL, but for our purposes today, I've underlined it to draw your attention to it. Now, please pause the video and decide where you think this target sentence best fits. Okay, hopefully you picked the second square for this one. However, wood is not only used for building materials because the sentence before talks about building materials, houses, and furniture. Then the sentence after talks about other materials, magazines, newspapers, food wrappers, and cereal boxes. So that's why this best belongs in the second square. Okay, let's move on. Now, sometimes the target sentence repeats a synonym in the passage, and you can use that to connect it to the sentence before or after. So synonyms often offer us connections. So this is another reason you need a good vocabulary. Let's look at the target sentence, and I have underlined what I want to draw your attention to as a synonym. Here, it's a mystery. The process was kept a mystery for over 1,000 years. So pause the video and try to determine where this sentence best fits. Okay, I hope you picked the fourth square. Why? Because it is a secret. The Romans did not know the secrets to creating silk garments. Now, if something is a secret, it's also a mystery. This is why this sentence belongs in the fourth square. Okay, the fourth clue is if the target sentence goes into more detail about a previous topic. So it's building on the idea that makes it logical, that makes it coherent. So let's take a moment and read the target sentence. He was especially praised for his ability to render anatomically correct figures, both in sculptures and paintings. Go ahead and pause the video now and try to determine where the target sentence best fits. Okay, I'm hoping that you picked the first square. This sentence gives us more information about the topic of Michelangelo. It doesn't fit in the third or the second or the fourth square because by that time it has moved on to the topic of the Sistine Chapel and details about the Sistine Chapel. So since the first sentence talks about Michelangelo and how he was renowned throughout Italy as an extraordinary artist, this target sentence gives us more information about his artistic abilities and belongs in the first square. Okay, that brings us to the end of our short video about this question type. As I mentioned, this is quite an easy video just to get you started. For this and a lot more tips, you can purchase my book, Mastering the Reading Section for the TOEFL. It is now available on Amazon. You can also visit my website, www.houseoftoefl.com. There's my blog and all my videos can be found there. And you can contact me or reach out to me for private lessons. And there's a lot of services on there, and I think it will be very helpful for you. So, anyways, thank you for watching this video, and as always, good luck on your TOEFL test.